Semi-axle eyesight. Is there the high drive? Deep center. Go, go, go. We're out of here. We're out of here. Say ya, playa.
Just like they drew it up in Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! And this is it for good! The Audubon Green Wave are back in the Final Four! A dog pile on their side!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DW Broadcasting's coverage of men's varsity.
From our entire crew, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good morning, and welcome to Deerfield here in Barrington. Kind of an unusual setup for us here in the press box, but certainly a fun one nonetheless, as we are getting to you bright and early for game 96 of the South Jersey Baseball Tour. Certainly our first in a while. Our last was the Carter Cup Game 3 in the Tri-County Baseball League, the Collegiate Summer League. That was a Rough Riders win over Cherry Hill Pittman, and it's been a while. And since we're on the cusp of football season, it only seems fair that we've got one more baseball game to ride out the summer until we've got a triple header of football action coming to you from Gloucester County on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But that being said, this is Game 3 of the South Jersey Men's Baseball League 21 and up division between the Tankie's Tavern, which is their home field, but they're playing as the visiting team today, versus the South Jersey Spartans, a team based out of Runnymede who is getting their third licks on this field this week. They won Game 1 of the series 6-2, but then they lost 12-2 in Game 2, and now they're at it 1 week later for a do-or-die Game 3. It's been an unusual scheduling format. They played Game 1 of this series last Sunday at 9 a.m., and then they played Game 2 of a doubleheader immediately afterwards. And then what did they do for Game 3? They had to wait an entire week to play again. But again, big thanks to Pete Caniglia, Donovan Schmidt, and the entire South Jersey Spartans crew for having us out, along with the Tankie's Tavern crew for inviting us out here on their home field and giving us an opportunity to cover their men's league game. It's definitely something that we have done before in limited capacities, and there's a difference between the Tri-County Men's League and the South Jersey Men's League that we're going to see today. The pitcher for South Jersey, Shaheem Pace, graduated from Salem in 2017. Before he joined the Spartans, he never pitched an inning of organized baseball, but yet he's got a sub-3 ERA with the Spartans this year across their games as the number one ace on this Spartans club, and he's starting Game 3 tonight. So the question is, what is the difference between a collegiate summer league and a men's league? Well, these guys are 21 and up. Some have played baseball before, many also have, but maybe with less experience, and very few went on to play in college. Now, that's not a bad thing by any means. These guys are playing for the love of the game, and the competition that you're going to see is going to be as fierce as ever because of what's on the line, which is the championship. In any kind of atmosphere, in any kind of sport, you're always going to see championship fighters, no matter how benign it might seem at first glance. But it's a bit of an interesting championship, considering that both of these teams weren't even top 5 seeds, and both teams are going into this championship series with sub-500 records. Spartans at 9-12, Tankies at 10-12. So it's not like these guys were burning the houses down in the regular season during the summer and spring. The Stafford Braves had the number 1 seed going all the way down to the number 12 seed, and these guys are right around the middle of the pack. So it seems like that things evened out in a way where they got some big upsets. They were on the Spartans especially were on the road for their first playoff series as the number 7 seed, and now get to fight one more time for that spring and summer championship here in 2024 from Deerfield, from the pitcher-friendly Deerfield, we should mention. We've got Shaheem Pace on the hill for the South Jersey Spartans, and we've got a ton of exciting 9-inning baseball coming up your way. Just about 8:55 here from Barrington, and we'll take a quick break here on DWB with starting lineups and first pitch on the way.
school career. And he's having a good season on both sides of the ball. 304 average with 17 for 61 in 20 games played, 11 RBIs. And then you look at the pitching side of what Pace has done, and he is actually just one of 8 pitchers to take the mound during this Spartans campaign this year. Peter Caniglia, Kevin Gonzalez, Marquise Sultan, and Jordan Van, some of the players you'll be hearing about later today in their defensive and offensive productions. They will be mentioned later, but those are the 8 pitchers, them along with Pace. Pace in 14 games this year for the Spartans, and with a 71 2/3 innings pitched, 33 earned runs, and a 4.14 ERA, which is the second lowest on the team. Peter Caniglia in a much smaller sample size right behind him. Being recognized. All right, yeah, just had to fix that for a second, but we were just talking about Shaheem Pace, the ace for the South Jersey Spartans. He's pitched in over 71 innings this year with a 4.14 ERA as the Tankie's Tavern here in Game 3, going to get it started. Let's take a look at Tankie's starting lineup, brought to you by Tommy D's Home Improvement. For the Tankies this morning in Game 3, they'll be lining up with their starting 9, led by Joe Bryson, with Alex Marzocca in center field. Joe Bryson, the player manager, takes over in left field. Nick Sylvester at third base batting third. Andrew Cuff at first base batting cleanup. And the first pitch is low and away, and Game 3 is underway. Ryan Hansberry at shortstop, Mike Stam Jr. as the pitcher, Anthony Sulpizi, the catcher, Drew Gibbs, the DH, and Quinn Collins, the second baseman, with 2 subs, Sherrod McKee and Daniel Lapone, as there's a swing and a miss. 1-1. To Marzocca, the center fielder tonight. As this one is popped up over into the infield, and it's caught by the Spartan shortstop for out number 1. So that'll be a P6 to start Game 3 of this Men's League Championship. Here from Deerfield in Barrington. Quite an unusual field that we've driven by a plethora of times, but we've never actually done a game here. I mean, it feels like we've done a field at, or done a game at every field under the sun, but alas, this is our first here in Barrington, right off of Clements Bridge Road. That one skips in to Joe Bryson. Tankie's Tavern came into this game as the 8 seed with a 10-12 record in the regular season. Scored 150 runs, allowed 130 as this one's popped foul. The Stratford Knights went an impressive 20-2, but they're not playing in this championship. Neither are the Braves at 17-2, the Old Dirty Batters at 15-7. Nor are the Gloucester County Royals at 12-8. Swinging a foul tip. Actually, I don't think he got a piece of that, but that'll still be strike 2 anyway, 1-2. But the Spartans, the 7 seed. Tankie's the 8 seed on this campaign, led by Joe Bryson as the player manager. Taps this one up the line. It's going to roll along the chalk. Pace doesn't have a play, and it is foul. Good job there by Shaheem Pace to kind of lay off there for a second and make sure that ball went foul. It's very tempting as a pitcher to want to make that play when you see the batter bustling down the line. So the fact that he was able to stop and make sure that ball rolled foul, kind of overcoming that temptation, is not easy as a pitcher, especially somebody who did not pitch in high school or college. Joseph Bryson batting .417, 1 homer, 16 RBIs, 7 stolen bases, and a 1.065 OPS. Here's a slow roller to second base. Picked up on one knee, and the throw to first is in time, taken in by Mike Sr., and that's out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down for Pace here in the top of the first. And this brings up their number 3 hitter, and being Nick Sylvester. Sylvester batting in a very impressive .562 across 25 plate appearances. So I guess it is a smaller sample size, but still 6 RBIs and 3 home runs. So despite having only a handful of at-bats, as there's a strike called, despite only having a handful of at-bats, he makes up for half of the Tankie's home runs. He's got 3. The entire team this season sitting at 6. One and one to Sylvester. A pop out to short and a slow roller to second has been the 2 outs in this inning so far. Pace working from the edge of the rubber. That one is down. 2 and 1. First 3 for the Spartans in the bottom of the first. Going to end up being Pete Caniglia, along with Jordan and Donovan Schmidt. Three balls, 1 strike. Pace looking to hold off his first base runner of the night in Sylvester, and he will not do that. So a 5-pitch walk. And Sylvester gets aboard to be the first base runner on either side. So here's the cleanup hitter, batting from the right side, Andrew Cuff. They turned on the public address system for some walk-up music. Now, it should be noted that this is, for Tankie's Tavern, this is their home field. This is where they usually play, but for the sake of this championship, they're playing on the road. Here's a pop fly down the right field line and foul. But the funny thing about it all is that it kind of went the same way in the Tri-County League as well, with the Rough Riders and Cherry Hill Pittman. That Pittman team, their home field is Alcyon Park, but that's also the neutral site for the championship. So for Game 2 of that series, Cherry Hill Pittman was in the same situation, a visiting team in a home team's ballpark. That one misses, 1-1. Andrew Cuff batting .500. 13 for 26, 1 home run, 12 RBIs, and a 1.350 OPS. But overall, a very well-hitting team, as here's a high chopper out towards short. Kind of a rough play, and getting to second base. The ball does get away in the infield. Cuff goes to first, and now Sylvester gets into second with a kind of convoluted play all around. And that allows the second base runner to reach for the Tankies here in the first. And here's Hansberry. So after a relatively clean start for Pace here in the first, he now allows a walk to Sylvester, and that's going to be an E6 on the shortstop for the Spartans there. The only one in the field not wearing a jersey. He's got his pullover hoodie on. Not too bad of weather here in Barrington. 72 degrees at first pitch and partly cloudy. By the time we're done, it will heat up to 79 to 82 degrees with a high of 87 today. So I guess it's understandable why they would play at 9 a.m. on a Sunday when you're dealing with 72 compared to 87, 15-degree difference. 1-1. Downstairs, Hansberry calls time. Hansberry batting .571 in a small sample size of 7 games. Strike called, 2-2. But as we were talking about, Tankie's with 6 home runs on the campaign, 1 from Joseph Bryson, 1 from Andrew Cuff, 1 from Drew Gibbs, and then the other 3 are all with Sylvester. That one's roped into the gap in left center field. That one's going to get down, and it's going to roll all the way to the wall. Here comes Sylvester in to score. They're going to bring Andrew Cuff around third. The throw will not come in, and it's a 2-run double for Hansberry. And it's 2-0 Tankies here in the top of the first. So 2 outs and a 2-0 lead as the pitcher, Mike Stam Jr., grabs the bat. Stam also batting 510 games, 8 for 16. I mean, this team as a whole, as we said, a very good hitting team. 301 team average and an 836 OPS. The Spartans carrying a 329 team average and an 851 OPS. Now, I haven't looked at all the other 12 teams that are in this South Jersey League, so it could just be that this league is very offense-heavy. But a line drive to third is caught to retire the side. And 2 runs scored in the top of the first. We'll be right back as the Spartans get their affairs in order. We'll be right back. Here in Game 3 with a now adjusted and much better camera angle here from Deerfield in Barrington. As here is Pete Caniglia, one of the player owners of the South Jersey Spartans team. Kind of have like a bird's eye view because we are standing right on top of home plate. It's not like you've got a lot of room between home plate. We've worked in places like Burlington Township at Ed Varick Field, where you've got maybe 40 or 50 feet between the actual backstop and home plate, and then you've got places like Audubon where you may have like 10 feet, same with like Rutgers Camden, but here you're standing right on top of the field. The pitch from Mike Stam Jr., and it's a called strike. And it's 3-1. Caniglia batting .457 in 19 games. And he pops this one up down the third base line, heading over towards the foul line. And it will hit off the roof of the dugout and go into the street. Count is full now, 3-2. Errant ball came in from Sylvester in the infield. Mike Stam Jr., 10 innings pitched in 2 starts. 10 hits allowed in his campaign and 3.6 ERA. And that being a walk, his 3rd surrendered of the season. So Pete Caniglia will be followed by Jordan Van, the shortstop. Here for the Spartans, excuse me. And they're going to have Castagnon run at first for the catcher Caniglia. Now, usually what happens is the courtesy runners are activated with 2 outs in the inning if it's a pitcher or a catcher. But in this case, I guess they decided to run for Caniglia, or they were allowed to run for Caniglia with no outs in the inning. Van takes a strike called. 0-1 from Stam. Misses inside. Oh, no. Called strike. 0-2. He'll be followed up by another player, owner / manager, Donovan Schmidt, on deck. Van on the ground to third. He'll throw to second for 1. They'll have a chance at 2, but they don't take it, and it's a fielder's choice. So Van will reach. That will be a 5-6-3 fielder's choice to bring up Donovan Schmidt here. Schmidt batting .542 on the campaign, 18 RBI, and a 1.213 OPS to add on to that impressive .851 team OPS on this Spartans team. I mean, both of these teams batting over 300 as a collective offense is very impressive. But that also could be a byproduct of the fact that this league very well could be offense-centric. You know, in the Tri-County League, it's more pitching-centric. And you see a lot of 1-0 games, 3-2 games, 2-1 games. And that one's upstairs to the number 3 hitter, Schmidt, 26 years old. With the high stirrups, taps this one over to third. Sylvester's got it, and that one's going to go into right field. Van fell down, but he's not going to advance, and that will be an error that gets Schmidt on first. And now that's going to bring up their cleanup man, that being Max Worsta, batting .519 in 20 games. 28 for 54. The crazy thing is that in 54 at-bats, he has struck out just 3 times with a fly ball to straightaway left. It's taken in. Throw in from the infield is a little high, and that's out number 2 as Worsta takes the first pitch and lines it out to left for out number 2. And this will bring up the pitcher out of Salem High, Shaheen Pace. As we said in high school, a 300-plus hitter, just never took the mound during his career as a Salem Ram. Graduated the same year as Jonathan Taylor, the current running back for the Indianapolis Colts and the highest-paid running back in the NFL. Foul ball landed somewhere off the chain link fence, and I think it got stuck in the fence after that foul tip by Pace. Pace batting .304. 17 for 56. Now the runner's going to go to third. Van slides. He is safe. And now that puts runners on the corner. Schmidt did not go, so it was not a double steal by any means. But still, with the Spartans down 2, it allows an extra opportunity to get Stam in an uncomfortable position. As the count is 1-1. Actually, I'm sorry, it was 0-2. And swing and a miss retires the side. Spartans leave 2 runners on, and Pace strikes out in a good morning, good afternoon, and good night fashion to end the inning. We're through 1 here in the championship. Remember, we've got 9 innings to play, so we'll be here an extra 2 today. 2-0.
Top of the second here from Deerfield and Barrington. And first pitch jammed and foul. If he didn't swing at that, that might have gotten him right in the ribs. So Sulpizi down 0-1 on something that could have gotten him a free trip to first base. Sorry about that, folks. Still getting used to the setup here in the box. Definitely not a field that we are very used to with our South Jersey travels, as Sulpizi hits this one in the center field. Diving and making the catch in center field. Spartans get a miracle of an out from Max Wersta. And that certainly wasn't the worst play he could have made. Out number 1. So this will bring up from the left side of the batter's box Gibbs. He'll be followed up by Quinn Nelson. Or excuse me, Quinn Collins. Followed up by Zach Connell. But Spartans left 2 runners on in the bottom of the first. Tankie's got 2 runs home on a 2-run double. As that one is fouled back to the screen, and it's 0-1. One is inside. Spartans brought 3 men to the plate, or excuse me, 5 men to the plate in the bottom of the first. Looking to expand on that. Definitely not easy in a championship game like this. You're already down and then you leave 2 runners on, especially in that kind of situation. It doesn't really inspire a lot of life into the players. You know, when you have an opportunity that could have gotten you a couple runs. But the good thing is that they're playing 9 innings today. The first 2 games of the series were as a part of a 7-inning doubleheader. They went off the old MLB and actually collegiate 2020 and 2021 rules. As here's a tapper by Gibbs out towards second base. A little floater to first taken in by Senior. And that's out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down as Gibbs is retired. And this will bring up Collins. But like I said, you know, both of these teams batting over 300 as a collective. And when you're facing off against a guy who, like Shaheen Pace, who is the second lowest team ERA with a 4.14, you know, kind of points to the notion that this league is a lot more offense-centric. You saw Game 2 of the series was a 12-2 final in the Tankie's favor, as that's a base hit by Collins, and that'll bring up Zach Connell to round out the order for the Tankies. So Connell dealing with the runner on first and 2 down. Alex Marzaka, the center fielder, will be next. Good frame by Caniglia, and he gets a called strike there. 0-1. Swing and a miss, runner goes, and he'll get in there easily as the throw is received by Van. But it was a swing and a miss, and it is an 0-2 count. And foul tip by Connell. Oh-2 from Pace, rolled over to third. Picked up, and the throw across is in time to retire the side. So a lucky break for the Spartans as they leave a runner in scoring position on that roll over to third. We'll get batters 6, 7, and 8 for South Jersey in the bottom of the second. They trail by 2. In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Here in the bottom of the second inning, 1-0 count to Michael Sr. Batting .377 on the campaign, 20 hits, 11 RBIs. The entire team as a whole only has 1 home run compared to the Tankie's 6. That one coming from Max Wersta, who we saw has been productive. Lined out to left in his first at-bat, but did make that nice diving catch in center field. And let's be honest, if that catch doesn't get made in the first at-bat of the inning from Sulpizi, a run probably comes in to score, and it's probably 3-0. And you don't know how, especially considering we haven't covered this league before, I don't know how pace would, recover from adversity, especially on the hill, as that's going to be a base hit in the center field for Mike Sr. It's going to bring up Josiah Schlatter. Schlatter takes a strike called. 0-1. To the number 7 hitter with Robles on deck. Taps this one over towards second base. This could be 2 if they turn it well. They're not going to get anybody. Senior slides in there, and a miscue on the bases allows Senior to advance to second, and Schlatter to get in on what was going to be at worst a fielder's choice, and they ended up getting nothing out of it. And here is Robles. So a good start for the Spartans here in the bottom of the second, as they have 2 runners on and nobody out. Stam delivers a foul ball down the left field line from Robles. Carlos Robles batting .256, 1 extra base hit, 10 for 48. And a .678 OPS for the Spartans this year. As we said, their collective is .851. But that's also aided by some really good performances from guys like Max Wersta. Along with him, Donovan Schmidt setting up there. I mean, they've got 3 players alone who have OPSs above 1. Schmidt, Wersta, and Caniglia. All of whom have played in 15 or more games this year as Robles strikes out swinging. And there's out number 1. So here is Khalil Hassan. Laquan Hassan. This one is fouled back. On deck will be the second baseman, Ruben Castanon. 0-1. Swing and a miss by Hassan, 0-2. That's a ball. Takes inside, 2-2. Tapped out towards third. They've got a chance for 2. They'll get 1. And that will move the runners to first and third. Here with 2 outs now. And as we get set for this at-bat with Castanone, should be noted, that's their starting lineup for the night. Had some technical issues, had to get that one in a little late, but the lineup will turn over to Pete Caniglia as a strike is called to Castanone, 0-1 with 2 outs. Fouls that one off of his back foot, and Castanone is down 0-2. Senior on third. Schlatter was out at second on the fielder's choice. Here's a fly ball in the center field. Straight away, though, and for the second inning in a row, the Spartans have left 2 runners on to go scoreless through 2. As the Tavern is looking pretty good here in Game 3, but they're looking to keep the offensive production good. After 2 frames here in Barrington, 2-0 in favor of the visiting Tankie's Tavern. In life, the road
Tommy
ahead
D's
is
Home Design Center
full of
has opened a second location on Creek Road in Belmar, operating in Philadelphia for over 25 years and now expanding into South Jersey. Tommy D's is the place to go for kitchen cabinets, countertops, and cabinet accessories, heavily discounted compared to big box retailers. Stop in, take a seat, and watch as our experienced kitchen designer makes the kitchen of your dreams right in front of you. Tommy D's is the best in the business for quality kitchen countertops and cabinets that fit all budgets. Call us today at 856-210-9504 or visit the new location in person on the corner of Creek Road and Harding Avenue in Belmar next to the 42 on-ramp.
Here in the top of the third, both teams are going to be trading off their third inning with the top of the order. Marzaka for the Tankies here, and first pitch line to third, and Hassan takes it in. Out number 1. Barely could get the words out of my mouth, and we've already got 1 down here in the top of the third. This broadcast is brought to you by our good friends over at Harper Driving School. Over 95% of students pass their New Jersey state driving test on the first try with Harper's. If you or your child like those odds, book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman, right off of Lambs Road. Popped up, third base side, and out of play. Joe Bryson fouls that one off. It's 0-2. Bryson 0 for 1. He rolled over to second base his last time. As we said, he has one of the Tankie's 6 home runs. Nick Sylvester on deck has 3 of them. We've only seen a handful of balls get hit into the outfield, as that one's going to be a third strike. Caniglia throws to first, and it's in time. A closer play than it probably should have been, but it's out number 2 regardless. I mean, Caniglia set up his stance in the box and had to move over a couple of steps, almost colliding with the home plate umpire just to make that play. So here is Sylvester now batting out of the left side here for the Tankies. We should note that we are always looking for new small business owners to sponsor Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. I'm a rising freshman at Rowan College of South Jersey at the Gloucester campus, and I'm looking to combine what I do for RCSJ into Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. I've been working since 2022, covering South Jersey high school and collegiate, along with amateur athletics. We have over 60,000 annual viewers, and of course, our sponsors as well. We have all of our commercials on DWB, edited, recorded, produced, and filmed by me. It goes towards college funds and towards equipment expenses and travel costs for games like these that are close to home, but others that are a little further away from a hop, skip, and a jump. You can email an advertising inquiry to thedanwilkinshow@gmail.com. All of that information is in the description of this YouTube video, and we'll send you an advertising flyer with information, and you can get yourself in the advertising game today with Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. 2-1 is the count to Sylvester. He walked and came around to score his first time on that 2-run double by Hansberry, which to this point has been the only runs of the game for either the Tankies or the Spartans. One's outside, 3-1. Would be nice for Sylvester to get 2 walks in a row, but especially considering his power threat, might be wise for Pace to keep that conservative approach with him. And that's going to miss for a ball. So back-to-back at-bats with a 5-pitch walk, and Sylvester gets 2 free passes and a partridge in a pear tree. Here's the cleanup hitter, Andrew Cuff. Cuff reached on an error his first time. 318 down the lines here at 318 down the left field line here at Deerfield. 393 to center field as that's fouled back. I mean, it's a straight line. This is about as bare bones as a baseball field gets. You've got your press box, you've got your dugouts, you've got the wooden benches, and you've got the metal grandstands. But there's no tarp on the outfield. There's just a chain link fence with a couple of signs hanging over it, and a 20-foot high fence running from the center field apex all the way to the right field foul pole and beyond. So this one's going to be into center field. Worsta plays it well and makes the catch to retire the side. So we are going to the bottom of the third, and despite a 2-out walk, Pace gets out of it unharmed. He has been nice since the first frame, and he's looking to continue that here in the bottom of the third. 2-0 Tankies. Bottom of the third, Pete Caniglia leading off. And that one is away. Tankies lead 2-0 here in the bottom of the third. You're watching coverage of the South Jersey Men's Baseball League Championship on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. If you have any questions or comments about today's broadcast, as there's a base hit in center field, drop me a line at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. Caniglia reaching base twice, walked in his first time, and then gets the base hit. Now Ruben Castanone will run for him at first. Yeah, that's something I didn't know about this league, is that in the Tri-County League in high school and in baseball, collegiate baseball, you have a courtesy runner for the pitcher or catcher with 2 outs in the inning. But Caniglia led off in both of his at-bats, got on both times, and got ran for by Castanone in both of those at-bats, as Van pops it up on the first pitch, headed over towards third. Sylvester is over, and it's foul. 0-1. Don't forget, we've got a DWB football triple header coming up as we kick off the 2024 football campaign with a 25-game slate from Thursday, August 29th, all the way into Turkey Day on Thanksgiving, as that one's fouled back by Van, 0-2. We kick off the season with a Thursday, August 29th matchup between the Kip Cooper Titans, who are going into their second season of athletic membership, and the Gateway Gators in their Week 0 matchup from Frank Natoli Field, as there's going to be a strike 3 called to Van. Strikeout number 3 for Mike Stam Jr. tonight, and that's out number 1, bringing up Donovan Schmidt here. Schmidt reached on an E5 his first time, still 0 for 1 in the box score tonight. Friday, August 30th, a 7 o'clock start between the Collingswood Panthers and the Clayton Clippers. And then Saturday, August 31st, going to be a classic matchup in Gloucester County between the Pennsgrove Red Devils and the Paulsboro Red Raiders. From the Mark Namani Sports Complex, there's a line drive to third. Sylvester's got it, and he's going to double off Castanone to end the inning. Just a stroke of bad luck there from Schmidt. I mean, he hit the ball well, but Sylvester got it on a line, and Castanone just didn't react in time. The inning is over prematurely. Through 3, Tankie's still on top 2-0, riding the coattails of that 2-run double in the top of the first. We'll be right back. Go back to break. Strike called to start the top of the 4th inning, as Hansberry, who had that 2-run double in the first and has been the only offense tonight, and a strike is called on the inside corner, 0-2. Hansberry, Stam, and Sulpizi batting here in the 4th for the Tankies, up by 2. Line drive, and that's going to be another base hit for Hansberry. He's 2 for 2. lines that one in the center field. And that'll be a leadoff base runner for the pitcher, Mike Stamm Jr. He's got 3 strikeouts in 3 frames tonight with that Chesapeake College batting helmet on. Covered them back in October of 2023 in their fall softball showcase, something that we covered for Salem Community College and the Mighty Oaks. That one gets over the head of Caniglia, and Hansberry will advance to second on a erratic wild pitch. So Hansberry with a double and a single already, and Stamm, who lined out to third his first time, looking to bring him home off of pace. There's a line drive. That's going to hook down the corner. It'll get past Hassan. It'll go towards Schmidt in the left field line. He has trouble with it. Scoring easily is Hansberry, and that's going to be an RBI single with the ball having trouble in the infield with Castanone. Nobody's covering first. It's an RBI single off the bat of Mike Stamm, and the pitcher helps his own cause. That's always something you want to see from the offensive side, and Sulpizi will bat in what is now a 3-0 Tankie's lead. And still nobody out, I should mention. That's the crazy thing about it all, is that he was able to score on 2 singles in a row because Hansberry advanced to second on the wild pitch and then easily scored on that hook down the line. I was surprised that Stamm didn't try to go for 2. Now he's going to try, and he will advance to second base uncontested. So runner on second here, and a 1-0 count. Not necessarily a wild pitch because Caniglia did hold it in, but the runner did advance uncontested, taking a big lead off of second. That one is upstairs, 2-0. 3-0 Tankies here in the top of the fourth with Sulpizi, who flew out to center his first time. Line foul, 2-1. Tune in on Tuesday, August 27th from the Rutgers-Camden Conflicts on Delaware Avenue as we kick off the men's soccer season in the GSAC and the Garden State Athletic Conference between the Camden County Cougars and the RCSJ Roadrunners. That's a special event being held at Rutgers-Camden. Now, right now, the thing that's swirling around is that Camden County will not field a women's soccer team this year due to low membership. But what they will do is they'll play a standalone game at 7 o'clock that night from Rutgers-Camden. Still waiting on word on if they're going to find a different opponent for that women's game. If it is, it'll be a 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock doubleheader. If it's just a standalone men's game, it'll be a 7 o'clock start time from the Delaware Avenue complex in Camden. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Sulpizi with Gibbs on deck. Sulpizi flew out to center his first time on that nice play by Worsta. Payoff from Pace will not pay off, and that'll be a full count walk. Just not looking great for the Spartans right now, and with nobody out, it's a tough pill to swallow, especially, Van is talking to Pace right now, and, there's a lot of things going through these guys' heads, especially in a do-or-die championship game 3. There is a lot to be said, and keeping the pitcher's composure at a level head is always first priority, because the last thing you want is you don't want an erratic pitcher who just is angry and throwing as fast as he can, because guess what? We've seen that before. It happened with one of the fellas on the South Jersey Grizzlies in the Tri-County playoffs this past year. He was so upset with the umpire's calls that he just started throwing whatever he had in the kitchen sink until he just got so fired up that he said, "I'm done," and he got ejected from the game. This past July, as there's a pop-up, Pace calls for it. Oh, he didn't hear Hassan call for it, and Hassan makes the catch. You know what? Pace called for it, and Hassan just didn't hear him. And they're kind of waving it off now because they are very lucky that he made that catch. I mean, that's not easy to make the catch when you've got somebody running into you that fast. But Gibbs pops out, and here's Quinn Collins. 1 away, 2 on. And a runner in scoring position as there's a swing and a miss. And his dugout's ribbing him for swinging at that one upstairs, but he's like, I know, I got it. That one's on me, fellas. It's 0-1. And Pace fouls that one back, 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out. Tapped over to Van. This could be 2. They're not going to go to second, and they'll get the runner at first. Collins thought he was safe, and that will bring up Zach Connell. It is time for DWB Trivia Time. Only fair that we do this during the final game that we have scheduled right now of the South Jersey Baseball Tour. Here's an old classic. Today's question is, who had the highest wins above replacement, or WAR, which is a metric basically showing the player's value over a replacement substitute, of the infamous 2015 Phillies, with 99 losses? Of course, the options are A, Michael Franco, B, Aaron Altair, C, Ben Revere, or D, Odubel Herrera. All classic names there. The answer will be revealed in the bottom of the 4th inning. 2 runners in scoring position, and Connell pumps this one up. This could be a huge break for Shaheem Pace and the Spartans, and he makes the catch. Doesn't have Laquan Nelson or Hassan to call him off that time, as the side is retired. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Huge break for the Spartans as they allow 1, but they leave 2 runners in scoring position, and that inning could have unraveled very quickly if they didn't get it under control. We'll be right back. 3-0 Tankies. Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
Max Worst on the first pitch of the bottom of the 4th ropes a single in the left as he's continued production on both sides of the ball tonight. A couple good catches in center field, some good reads, and now a base hit into straightaway left. Gives Stam a little early pressure as this will bring up Shaheem Pace, who struck out his first time. But just an unfortunate end to the 3rd for Donovan Schmidt. Lined that one to 3rd. Especially after already being 0 for 1. He reached on an error, which is admirable enough, but That's one of the most painful things in baseball, is that when you square up good contact with the baseball, but not only are you out, you line into a double play. And I think that Castanone just didn't see that one coming, and he didn't have the reaction time, as Worst does get in the second base there on the wild pitch. Mike Sr., who already has a base hit today, 1 for 1. The Spartans actually only have 3 hits tonight, but have taken advantage of a handful of errors in the infield by the Tankies. I mean, this has not been a clean defensive game. There's been a handful of errors on both sides of the ball, but at the same time, this is the first time I've covered this men's league. This could be a normal occurrence, in this situation. We see sometimes in the collegiate leagues, you maybe see 1 or 2 errors per game, 3 or 4 if it's a particularly, unfocused organization. But Tankie's already with 2 errors in the infield. And the Spartans as well. They don't have clean hands either. Both teams have 2 errors tonight, at least in my scorecard. My scorecard is not official, as we mention all the time here. I write down what I think is best, and then we compare with the home scorekeeper when we're done. But Pace fouls this one back. Count is 2-2. Senior, and then the long-haired fellow, Jordan Schlatter. The next 2 here after Pace. With the Marucci gray bat. Gets drilled right in the back, and that'll put 2 runners on. Taking 1 for the team there. As the first hit by pitch of the game allows Senior to bat as the tying run. We should note, it's only 255 feet to right field. And then it's 393 feet to the deepest part of the park in left center, where the high fence ends and the low fence begins. So this is quite a wonky place, as that one's fouled back. 0-1 to Senior. That one's headed for Clements Bridge Road. Fouled back again, 0-2. Jordan Schlatter on deck, reached on an E6 his first time. But a quick 0-2 count to Mike Sr. Strike 3 on the outside corner. That's the old-fashioned good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Stam records his 4th strikeout of the afternoon. And Schlatter comes up for his second at-bat. 0 for 1, reached on an error his first time. And that's not the best way to, halt a rally here. You've got 2 runners on with Pace and Worcester, although Pace has been run for by Schmidt. Again, just an interesting rule here where it's not 2 outs that the courtesy runner can be activated. It can be activated at any time when the pitcher or catcher is on, which I guess is also a byproduct of the fact that this isn't some, collegiate, I guess you could say, 75% professional league. So I guess preserving the player's health is always the best priority there. Schlatter choked up way high on the bat. That's kind of how Tony Gwynn used to do it in the 1980s from the left side of the batter's box. And Joey Votto as well, the recently retired Cincinnati Red. As there's a swing and a miss. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Schlatter. So Schmidt on first, running for Pace as the last batted out. Oh, that hit the knob of the bat, and it's foul. You could hear that clear as day. I mean, that's almost like a skill shot right there. Hits it off the knob and knocks it foul, 2-2. After Schlatter will be Carlos Robles, who struck out swinging his first time. Spartans down 3-0, but they have left their handful of runners on. 5 total runners surrendered in 3 innings. And 0 runs to show for it. That one's down, 3-2. And this is where you've got to be conservative as a hitter. You're not in the 3 spot. You know, you haven't hit any home runs this season. It's one of those situations where you got to swing at anything close, but you also have to be alert for anything that is out of your reach. And there's strike 3 there. Schlatter not happy with that one. Whether he's not happy with himself or the call, we'll never know, but that'll be out number 2. That'll bring up Robles there. I mean, that's the last thing you want if you're the Spartans. You've got 2 runners on, you got the hit by pitch, you got the single, you got everything you needed to form a rally, but then 2 strikeouts looking in a row just kills all the momentum. Here's a ground ball out to short. Thrown to second is in time, and Robles officially gets that one taken care of, and the 4th is through. And that's officially 7 runners left on by the Spartans here in 4 innings. But we've still got 5 more to play, nearing the halfway point here from Barrington, 3-0 Tankies. Top of the 5th inning. Here is Marzaka getting us started as we will reveal our trivia time answer. Didn't have time for that one in the bottom of the 4th inning as there's the first pitch from Pace. Fouls off of his foot, 0-1. Today's question is, who had the highest WAR, or wins above replacement, of any player on the 2015 Phillies? That very infamous team went 63-99 and barely avoided being the first Phillies team in franchise history to lose 100 games in a season. Here's a bunt foul. And it's 1-2. But the options are Maikel Franco, Aaron Altair, Ben Revere, or Odubel Herrera. Producer today is my own mother, Donna Wilkins. She's been here for about 8 or 9 games this year, but as we got started with DWB 2 years ago, she was the only one I had as an option. But glad that since nobody else was able to make it here on this Sunday, at 9 a.m. Not exactly the most ideal time for people to get up for baseball, but she did it anyway, and I did it. So, should note, though, thank you very much for being here today. What is your guess for this trivia time? Actually, hold on. Here's a fly ball in the center field. Worsta is there. Backtracks into that deep center field, and there's one away. But you said A, Maikel Franco?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's see. And your answer would be D, Odubel Herrera.
That was my other guess.
I believe Franco was second,
Yeah.
Revere was third, and Altair was fourth.
I know it was A or D.
Haven't used that one in a while, but we have our fair share of trivia time questions that we cycle through. Not a great night for the leadoff man, Marzaka, for the Tankies. 0 for 3 through the first 5 frames. A pop out, line out, and fly out. That was the first ball tonight he's hit to the outfield. 1 away. Fouled back by Bryson. One ball, 2 strikes. To Bryson with Nick Sylvester on deck here off of pace. Bryson reaches for 1 away and fouls it away. Still 1-2. Sun popping out here from Barrington. 79 degrees. Told you it would heat up. 72 degrees at first pitch. And we're just over an hour into this one now. And about halfway through. I mean, we haven't done a lot of 9-inning games this year. Just because usually it's collegiate baseball that has that. But we'll have to get used to them over at RCSJ. There's a tapper out towards second base. And Ruben Cantonone did not get there in time. He dove and trapped it, but didn't have a time to formulate a throw. And that'll be a base hit for Joe Bryson. 1 for 3 on the night. Here is Sylvester. Now, he has been the safest bet for the Tankies tonight because he has walked in both appearances. Both appearances had a 5-pitch walk. And takes that one upstairs, 1-0. This broadcast is brought to you by Tommy D's Home Improvement. Make your dream kitchen come true today with wholesale kitchen cabinets and countertops at heavily discounted rates. Visit today at 612 Creek Road in Belmar, next to the 42 on-ramp. Pace steps off. As we said, our next broadcast will be Tuesday, August 27th, in men's soccer action between the Camden County Cougars and the RCSJ Roadrunners. That is from the Rutgers-Camden complex. That one hooks down the right field line, gets under the glove of Senior, and goes into the right field foul line. That goes to third. Bryson gets in there standing, and it's a base hit for Sylvester. He finally breaks the streak and finally connects with the wood. And now here's Andrew Cuff. Big chance here for the Tankies to solidify what they have in this game. You know, this is kind of like a legacy game for them. They're trying to win the championship, and look, the Spartans are looking to achieve the same. But you don't need me to tell you that. The thing is here is that, you know, look, they've both of these teams. Oh, look at that. Ball ricocheted off of the third base dugout and went right into the glove of Khalil Hassan. Combining baseball and pinball all in one. But, you know, these guys are trying to get ahead when both of these teams have had runners capitalizing in scoring position and struggling to capitalize in scoring position. Oh my goodness, nobody found the ball. Castanone drops it. They get the out at second, but the run scores, and it's 4-0 as Bryson scores on what will actually be an RBI single by Andrew Cuff because the ball didn't hit anybody's glove. So by rule, that is scored as a base hit. And that brings up Hansberry, who has already been threatening with the bat tonight. 2 for 2, including that 2-run double in the first that got him in this mess to begin with. Runner goes. First pitch is a strike, but Caniglia does not throw down. I mean, I just don't know. There must have been a miscommunication or something because that seemed like a very simple fly ball. And now he's going to go again. He throws behind the batter. Throw to third is not in time. The ball got away from Hassan. They'll shovel to third, and he doesn't get there, but a nearly disastrous play as that ball had trouble getting into Khalil Hassan's glove, and back-to-back stolen bases by their runner here. That being Marzaka, who was pinch running for Nick Sylvester. I'm sorry, he was pinch running for Cuff. I apologize. Actually, the funny thing is that hit by Cuff is going to be scored as a fielder's choice, except it's going to be a 9-6 fielder's choice because the runner was out at second. So he doesn't get the RBI. The run scores, but you don't get an RBI on fielder's choices. Count is 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Hits him. And I wonder, I guess the same rule doesn't apply where you have to make an attempt to get out of the way of the pitch. I mean, he just stood there. I mean, that kind of, that's happened to a couple times in the broadcasts, especially at the high school and collegiate level, where batters who don't get out of the way for a pitch, or at least don't make the attempt, they don't get the hit by pitch, and it ends up being charged as a ball, but I guess it didn't matter either way. Here is Stam, fouls it back. Hansberry went on the pitch, but he ends up having to go back. So we've got runners on the corners here. An 0-1 count and 2 away here in a 4-0 Tankies game. They scored 2 runs in the first inning. Got a third run across and an RBI single by Stam in the third, and now an RBI, or actually a fielder's choice by Andrew Cuff. Makes it 4-0. Caniglia throws it back to the mound. And a smart move there by Caniglia to go to pace as neither Van nor Castanone broke for second. So he got a free stolen base out of that because nobody covered the bag. Here's the 0-2 to Stam. Stam rolls this one over to short. Van has the throw. Senior ranges over, and it's in time. Still a 4-run game as they get one across on a fielder's choice, a convoluted one at that from Andrew Cuff. But a lot of work to be done here in the bottom of the 5th as we are halfway home here in the championship game 3. Tankies 4, Spartans 0. First pitch is away to start the bottom of the 5th to Khalil Hassan. Hassan hits this one out towards left field. It's hit well. It is a fair ball, and it's going to one-hop over the fence. Khalil Hassan, ground rule double. That one had a legit chance, too. I mean, it's only 3:14 down the line. So a great effort there by the number 9 hitter, Hassan, to get the party started here in the 5th. Excuse me. And you got to remember, these guys won game 1 of the series over the Tankies 6-2, and then they lost 12-2 in the second game of that series. So this is the matinee. This is all your ducks in a row. This is all your eggs in one basket. And it all comes down to this, and just the way we've been seeing the plays here tonight just doesn't seem like they've had the same rhythm defensively. That play in right field that scored Joe Bryson earlier, that wasn't scored in error, but that's only because of a technicality in the rules. You can obviously say that was a mental error by all means. It just doesn't get written down that way. That one's outside and a little bit high to Castano. Sitting at 1-2 here. Up and away, 2-2. So Hassan, who reached on a fielder's choice last time, now gets his hat in the ring with a ground rule double. And there's strike 3 on the inside corner. They've been calling that all night, so that will be out number 1. Six strikeouts from Mike Stam tonight, and this brings up Pete Caniglia again. Strike called. 0-1. 4-0 Tankies here in the bottom of the 5th, just about halfway home. Right now sitting at 1 hour and 23 minutes of game time. Started at 9:05. Strike 2 to Caniglia. He's reached base both times tonight, a base hit and a walk, but obviously has not come around to score. He's going to try to drive in Hassan here if he can get a barrel to the ball. Away, 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out after the strikeout looking to Castano. And Caniglia, the part owner and a catcher here for the Spartans, is going to ground out to short. I mean, he was hustling all the way, just didn't seem to get the luck of the draw there. And a 6-3 ground out does advance Hassan to third. The problem is there's 2 outs now for Jordan Van, who is 0 for 2. With a fielder's choice and a strikeout looking. 5 of Mike Stam's 6 strikeouts tonight have been in the looking category. So he hasn't gotten he's gotten a handful of swing and misses, but just not with 2 strikes. He seems to take advantage of a lot of run on that fastball late in the count and late in the at-bat to get advantage of the corner and get a good call there. So that's a foul ball. One ball, 1 strike. Right down the pipe. Would just be another blow to the Spartans if they don't get Hassan home here, because that was a feel-good story there. Hassan, roped one down the line, got the ground rule double, but got to be able to score here. Ground ball in between third and short. That'll skip through into left field. That's the first run of the night for the Spartans as Khalil Hassan scores on an RBI single by Jordan Van, and now here is Donovan Schmidt. That's just a good piece of hitting there. He didn't have the best at-bat up to that point, was down in the count, had 2 strikes against him, but that is the philosophy in baseball of never giving up and being able to, take a pitch that wasn't exactly the prettiest pitch imaginable, not the one that you would have, hit for a 400-foot home run, and Schmidt lines out to end the inning. But still, Spartans are on the board, and they trail 4-1 after 5. Looking to get back in the groove in the second half of this game. It is 4-1 Tankies after 5. Top of the 6th inning, and the Spartans have managed to salvage a run on an RBI single by Jordan Van in the 2 spot. Here is Sulpizi leading it off. Inside, it's Sulpizi, Gibbs, and Quinn Rollins. Sulpizi 0 for 1, a fly out to center, and a walk in his 2 plate appearances so far this morning. Yes, it is still morning, 10:33 a.m. here in Barrington. I mean, we've done games earlier. We did an 8 a.m. game once for travel ball as a part of the Mid-Atlantic Warriors tournament back in September of last year over in Logan Township. A game that had, a tournament that had quite the trials and tribulations, where a team was so dissatisfied with the umpire that a parent got thrown out of the tournament, and the opposing team that lost and was knocked out of the tournament took all of the game balls home with them. And just straight up took them, and the championship game was delayed by 45 minutes because they didn't have any game balls. Little floater into shallow right field. And that is dropped by Castanone and picked up in right, but still a bad situation all around, as that will be an error charge to second baseman. As a bad fielding day just got worse. And here is Gibbs now. So Sulpizi will reach on what is scored as an E4. And Caniglia is not going to have a chance there. Home plate umpire was asking the Tankies if they had a runner for Sulpizi, the catcher, but they're saying no at the moment. Inside, 2-0. Here's the 2-0 from Pace. Outside, 3-0. Probably getting a green light here on the 3-0. With Gibbs in the left-hand batter's box, has a runner in scoring position with Sulpizi, who reached on an error and then advanced on a wild pitch. Strike called, 3-1. I mean, this is a real hitter's count here. They've got the ball in their court. If they take, they might get a ball, but if they get a strike, they're still in it. I mean, that's pretty obvious, but it ends up being the deciding factor in a lot of these games, those close calls, and that will be a walk. So 2 runners on and nobody out for Quinn Collins. 1 for 2 tonight, single and a ground out. Ball inside. No action in either bullpen yet. But as we said, this is kind of the reality that exists in the men's league, that you might have to, ride with Pace for quite a long time. I mean, he's pitched over 70 innings this season in 14 games, 8 starts, but only 8 pitchers have ever taken the mound this season for the Spartans. So it's not like it's an easy job to be a pitcher in a men's league. I mean, basically have to take an entire bottle of ibuprofen just to pitch 9 innings. But, these guys are resilient, and the Spartans, for as long as they can, are going to have their confidence in him. The count is 3-0. 3-1 as a strike is called to Collins. Pace taking a while. Runner goes. That one is fouled back. 3-2. Three balls, 2 strikes. Full count pitch with 2 on. Gets jammed. Fouls it back, and it almost hit the umpire in the dome. And it almost hit Pete Caniglia, too. But they'll hold off. And it is still 3 balls, 2 strikes. I mean, if he walks here, especially with Zach Connell up, or Zach Connell on deck, and then you've got the top of the order, that's a recipe for disaster if he doesn't throw a strike here. Could definitely tell the tale for the rest of the game. Fouls it back again. He's been getting jammed a couple of times. And a couple of pitches have been outside of the zone, so Pace has, let's just say, gotten a few mulligans in this at-bat. Now with Connell on deck, who is 0 for 2 tonight, and you've got Marcosi on deck, who is, in the hole, who is 0 for 3. Swing and a miss. Pace with his first strikeout of the night after 5 innings of putting the ball in play for all batters. This now brings up Connell. That's big for Pace there. I mean, that gets his confidence back up. That gets affairs in order. And you keep those runners at bay, because you got to remember, Sulpizi at second base started to break for third during that last at-bat. And then what did he do? Well, ball was fouled back. He had to go back, and then he didn't try again. So in a very similar scenario, you might have 2 runners in scoring position, or even worse, bases loaded. So a big break for Pace here in the top of the 6th, but still have 2 outs to conquer. First pitch is a strike, touches the outside corner, and it's 0-1. Fouled back by Connell into the parking lot. A lot of cars parked close to the playing area here, so there's even a pickup truck up on the grass, so I think we're pretty grateful we haven't seen any cracked windows yet, knock on wood. Fouled back again, although this one might be playable. Pace is going over. Schlatter calls, and he makes the catch. 2 outs. Now they're going to go back to second base. That is not in time. And they almost got probably the weirdest double play I might have ever seen, but they end up surviving by the skin of their teeth. Here's Marcosa. I don't know what was happening there. Was he running because he thought the ball was out of play? I'm not sure, but that would have been a boneheaded play if it went the other way. Spartans trail 4-1 here in the top of the 6th. Fouled back. That one almost got the photographer up here in the booth. Close calls all around tonight, but still keeping it kosher. You know, they're keeping it close. And you've still got some innings to go, but certainly time is running low for the Spartans to get some offense going. Because look, they've already scored 1 run, but you know Schmidt has had some of the unluckiest line drives I've seen tonight. He lined into a double play. He lined out right to the pitcher. And he's been putting the barrel to the ball. He's just been putting it right into the pitcher's glove like it's a magnet. 0-2 to Marcosa. Lines this one out towards short. Van takes it and flips to Castanone to retire the side. 2 runners on, but a huge break for Shaheen Pace, who has been in a couple of those situations tonight. But an error, a walk, a strikeout, a pop-out, and a fielder's choice retires the side. 4-1 going to the bottom of the 6th. Tankie still lead 4-1 as this game is getting down to the wire in the final few frames. Bottom of the 6th inning, Worsta up here at the dish as the cleanup man for the Spartans. They trail 4-1 after Schmidt ended the side in the 5th. Worsta 1 for 2. Lines that one foul into the on-deck circle and almost got a piece of Shaheem Pace. Count is 1-1. Worsta followed by Pace and Mike Sr. And no, we're not saying that like there's a Mike Sr. and a Mike Jr. His name is Michael Sr.
Yeah, it took me a couple innings to figure that out.
Right. Just like the old NASCAR driver Dale Earnhardt Sr. was mostly known by just Dale Sr. But nope, that is his. That is the surname of the Spartans' first baseman. As that one trails inside to Worsta. And Stam delivers again. Fouls that one off. He's been way early on all of the pitches he's made contact with. Just needs to barrel one up and get it in time. The shortstop is playing way over to the left, so he can get a big gap from short and hook it into left center field. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Stam delivers. Oh, that one got him. And that one got him in the hand, in his right hand. And that one is going to sting. I mean, he recoiled back in his swing and went to go for it, and then that's what happens when you get hit with something like a 2-seam fastball or a sinker. It ends up trailing right back in, and as soon as you realize that your hands are already here, your hands are already there, ready to go, and then it just doesn't work, and that's the situation that he ran into right there, and unfortunately got hit, but is staying in the game, and he's just rubbing it off. He's just shaking it off, making sure he's okay. So here's a hit by pitch, and Shaheem Pace fouls that one back. Pace was also hit by a pitch in his last at-bat. Pace struck out in the first inning to end the first inning, and then was hit by a pitch in the 4th. Throw over to first. Worsta dives back safely. Senior, 1 for 2, is on deck. A single and a strikeout to his name tonight. Tried to drop an elbow into that one, but it is inside, 1-1. 1-1. That one's outside. The throw with no recoil almost went into center field, and it does get Worcester to second base. I mean, Sulpizi didn't even take a step from the box or anything. He kind of stood back there and tried to get it in. That throw almost went awry, and the count is 2-1 to Pace. Pace gets jammed, and it's 2-2. And that's the worst thing that you could do as a pitcher. I mean, besides getting hit, obviously, is having an at-bat like that where you get jammed, because that's going to make your hands sting. That's going to mess up with your, your pitch grips and how you feel the baseball. It's not going to help. Pace strikes out. They will throw it down to first. And how about this? Worcester with a great heads-up play, advancing him to third on the strikeout. One away. You don't see a lot of people doing that. I mean, usually when the guy breaks for third, it ends up just ending with the guy at third getting thrown out and letting first base walk free. But that's a big heads-up play there from Worcester, especially down by 3. You kind of need those heads-up plays to score runs, and they will get that run home here with an RBI ground out by Senior. Worcester comes in, and it is 4-2 Tankies. And that's exactly plays like that win championships. Because think about it that way: if Worcester doesn't advance to third on the drop third strike, he doesn't score. He doesn't even advance to third. He's still stuck at second. Because the fact of the matter is that Worcester was at second when the ball was hit to, he would have been at second when the ball was hit to the left side of the infield. He doesn't have a prayer in scoring. So the fact that he moved over on that drop third strike, really an admirable effort there, as the count is going to be 0-2 to Schlatter. He tried bunting on the first pitch, which I thought was a bit odd, with the bases empty and 2 outs. But Stam kicks and delivers, rolls this one over to short. A play by Hansberry is in time to retire the side, but a run does come across for the Spartans. They trail 4-2 after 6 on the RBI groundout from Michael Sr. We'll be right back. Joe Bryson leading off the top of the 7th. You're on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, a 4-2 game. Shaheen Pace staying in with 1 strikeout in 6 innings, and it's a 4-2 game in favor of the Tankie's Tavern. Spartans have gotten 1 run apiece in the last 2 innings. They got an RBI single in the bottom of the 5th, and then an RBI groundout in the bottom of the 6th. Nothing glamorous. It's unglamorous RBIs, but they are RBIs nonetheless. And they have cut their deficit in half. As there's a strike called. I mean, there were some times where we were thinking, are the Tankies going to run away with this like they did in Game 2 with a 12-2 final? Or, You know, are the Spartans going to have a fighting chance to get back into it? And they absolutely are doing that. 1-2. Tapped over the middle. Might have broken his bat there as Van double clutches. Throw to first. A split. And Senior was off the bag. That right foot barely trailed off the bag. And Bryson will reach on what is going to be... I don't know. It's going to be an error on somebody because that was a routine play. But... I don't know. It's either going to be an E6 or an E3, depending on who you want to charge the error to, but it'll be Robles, Hassan, and Castanon in the bottom of the 7th. But Bryson reaching for the second time today. 2 ground outs to second, a single, and an error. Here's Sylvester, who has also reached base all 3 times. 2 walks and a single for him tonight. Andrew Cuff on deck. Nobody out, but a big chance for the Tankies to get back in authority. There's a big swing and a miss. They're going to say foul tip on Sylvester. One ball, 2 strikes. Still nobody out. That one went right in between the gap. Between the batting cage and the park exit, if you will. That one's going to roll almost into the street. Still 1-2. Sylvester pops this one up. High in the infield. They've had trouble with this before. Van catches it. 1 away. I mean, it's not a great sign when you're not sure, and it maybe if you're not confident that the infielders are going to catch a pop fly. But at the same time, you know, these guys are playing diligently, and they're trying to make up profusely for their past mistakes. So here is Cuff. He's reached on an error, he's grounded out, and he's reached on a fielder's choice as Cuff hits this one well into left field. This one is way up there, and it's gone! Cuff with a 2-run shot to left center. Bryson will score as it splits the gap between Schmidt and Wursta, and it is 6-2, and the progress made up by the Spartans is erased here in the top of the 7th. That short porch in left center field got the work done, and Cuff with a shot to make it 6-2. And that is a tough pill to swallow for the Spartans, but that's just a great piece of hitting there. Took a ball that was easy to hit and drove it out of the yard. It looked good off the bat. It just didn't look like it was that well struck. And that'll be 355 feet, that estimated home run distance, brought to you by DWB Analytics. The projected home run distance on that shot by Andrew Cuff, the 49th home run of the season on the South Jersey Baseball Tour. And that one is fouled off the foot of Hansberry, and he'll have to shake that one off. But that's huge for the Tankies here because, you know, look, the Spartans have been creeping up on them for the past few frames. They've been getting a couple knocks here and there, and they got the run home in the 5th. They got a run home in the 6th, and then that momentum is just taking your breath away in the 7th with one swing of the bat. And not to say that they don't have a fighting chance, but their progress has been reset. It's the epitome of 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And it's now a 6-2 game here in the 7th as the 2-1 count is launched out towards left by Hansberry, hugging the foul line. That's one hopping off the wall. Schmidt falls down, And now hugging into second base is Hansberry with his second extra base hit of the night and his third total hit. And so here's Mike Stam. He is 3 for 3, 2 doubles, a single, and a hit by pitch. Would definitely be a good candidate for a player of the game if the Tankies can hold on to this one. That one is upstairs, 1-0. So runner on second, that being Hanbury. And Stam gets a barrel in the left field. Van rushing over towards the foul line. Schmidt collides. Who's got the ball? Does anybody have the baseball? Schmidt does. 2 out. And Van just sitting down. Hopefully he's all right. Being checked on by Schmidt there. There's been a couple of times. I just don't understand it. I mean, they've made a couple collisions out there. I didn't hear anybody go for it. I didn't hear anybody call for it. We had that one play that we did hear with Pace and Hassan, where Pace called for it, Hassan didn't hear it, and Hassan made the catch anyway. But and that's just an unfortunate part of the game. But the fact that it's happened at least 4 times tonight, the question of are they going to catch the baseball? Not the best look for the Spartans, but they've just got to get back into the winning mentality. You know, some of those guys out there just have to have a little more pep in their step. They've got to be a little more aggressive at the plate because they're just letting the balls go by that are perfectly good strikes. Attack a little earlier in the count. There's a line drive to left. Schmidt comes in, and he makes the catch to retire the side. A 2-run home run by Andrew Cuff breaks this game open and takes away all of the progress that the Spartans had made in the last 2 innings. We go to the bottom of the 7th. It is stretch time from Deerfield, and it is 6-2 Tankies. Carlos Robles starts off the bottom of the 7th. Here in the stretch frame. 6-2 in favor of the Tankies. See, if this would be a 7-inning game, we'd be on perfect pace. It's 2 hours, 2 minutes in, but we do still have 2 more innings to play. So Robles struck out his first time and grounded out in his second appearance. But both starters still in this game. Pace, despite giving up 6 runs, and Stam, still in it as well. Fire to pitch right down the middle, 3-1. Stam wasting no time. This one is floated out towards short, and it's going to be botched by Hansberry. Sylvester tried to get a throw off, but did not get one. And Robles will reach on an E6. So here is Khalil Hassan. Hassan with a fielder's choice and a ground rule double in his last at-bat. He came around to score the game's first run, or at least the first run for the Spartans. As that one's outside. Sun coming out here. Definitely has heated up in the last couple of innings. It's like we said, it was 72 when we got started here at 9 a.m. The high today, 87. And it'll be even more going into this upcoming week. That's the 1-1 to Hassan. Swing and a miss for number 9, and it's 1-2. With Ruben Castanone on deck for the Spartans. Popped up over the middle. Got to be careful here. Stam makes the catch. One away. With the fielding troubles that we've seen on both sides of the ball tonight, definitely was going to be a concern of if he was going to make that catch. One away for Castanone. He's 0 for 2. Fly out and a strikeout to his credit tonight. Ball 1. Ball in, 2-0. This is the best case scenario for the Spartans in this very specific situation, where you're rattling the starting pitcher a little bit. It's 2-1 now, but you've gotten back-to-back at-bats versus the bottom of the order where you've gotten in hitters' counts. You know, you got Hassan on first with that error, and that's going to be a base hit by Castanone down the left field line. Whoa, he's going to hold on here. Carlos Robles. And now here is Caniglia again. Man, I mean, Robles almost broke for third on that play. And that would have been a risky move that I don't think would have worked out. But kudos to the bottom of the order. They're paying their dues and they're, pitching in their 2 cents. And now here is Caniglia. A walk, a single, and a ground out have been his legacy tonight. As Caniglia in the left field. This one's going to be straight away, but it will be caught. They're going to hold everybody up there, and there's 2 away. Caniglia, that was probably the best barrel I've seen from him tonight, but just didn't have the distance on it. Especially considering what we saw with with the Tankies in the top half of the inning. Would have been a huge 3-run homer, but didn't get it, and here is Van. Like we said, these guys have only hit 1 home run in the entire season, and that was Max Wersta, who was also, showing off the bat tonight. 2 away, 2 on. First pitch to Van is away, 1-0. Van, a fielder's choice, a strikeout, and an RBI single. Got home that first run as a check swing says no. Was able to coil that one back in time. As Sylvester will talk to Stam real quick with a quick strategy here on 2-0. And that's the big idea here for the South Jersey Spartans, is they've got to get back into this game, even if it means one puzzle piece at a time. Doesn't have to be the biggest swing for it to matter. That one just crosses over the plate, 2-1. Do what Van did in the 5th inning. Got that RBI single. You had the RBI ground out from Senior in the 6th. Sometimes it's not the biggest swings that make the biggest noise. Pop up to third. Sylvester is covering his eyes with his glove, and he makes the catch to retire the side. That is 10 runners left on for the Spartans after 7 innings. And man, just a rough night all around as they tried to capitalize on that 2-run homer, but they got nothing out of it. We're through 7, and it's a 6-2 Tankies lead. Top of the 8th inning, Tankie's lead 6-2. This broadcast is brought to you by Garden State Pet Center. Visit 7 days a week to keep your pet happy and healthy with the most organic food products available in South Jersey, along with toys, cages, accessories, and more. Open 7 days a week at 226 South White Horse Pike in Audubon. Gibbs with a big swing and a miss to start his at-bat. His 4th of the night. Ground out, pop out, and a walk. Swing and a miss there. It's quickly 0-2. The new pitcher is Jordan Van. So Shaheen Pace's final line, 1 strikeout and 8 hits over 7 innings of work, which is very admirable. I mean, he got up to, if you count the regular season stats into the playoffs, he is up to 79 innings pitched and 1/3, of course. But, you know, obviously Spartans thought it was time for a change, and I think a very admirable effort by Pace, but still, you know, it just makes you think, was there a better time to take him out? Was there, you know, a more apt time to get that decision made? But you got to remember, the player managers who are in charge of making the decisions are on the field. And one of them is the catcher, Pete Caniglia, and the other is the left fielder, Donovan Schmidt. You know, those guys both, you know, have a say in what goes down. And the count is now 3-2 to Gibbs after starting the at-bat down 0-2. That's going to be ball 4. Just missed. Here's Quinn Collins. Actually, no, they're going to do a pinch hitter here. Sherrod McKee. That one skips off of the backstop and bounces right back to Van, but he will not have a play, and Gibbs will advance to second. Sherrod McKee batting .233, 7.430, 6 walks, 11 strikeouts, and a .628 OPS. That one skips inside, almost hit McKee. And it is 2-0 to the pinch hitter. So they'll be down to their last man on the bench if they don't hit Lapone. Foul back. Two balls, 1 strike. That one is away. 3-1. And that one's outside. That's going to get the runner to third. And a 5-pitch walk to McKee. So 2 walks here in the 8th, and it's Zach Connell who will bat to round out the order for Tankie's Tavern. Runner goes to second, but Van cuts it off, and a strike is called. So now runners on second and third, but no outs. Big opportunity to take this game out of reach as that one goes to the backstop. The good thing about having a pitcher who might not have the best control is that the backstop is so short, it's almost non-existent, that you can take caroms off of it without any issue. You don't have to really chase it. It comes right back to you. This one's hit well in the left field. Schmidt is there. And now runner tags. Pace cuts it off. They will fake the throw to home. And that's a sacrifice fly that extends the lead to 7-2 as Gibbs scores. Now a 5-run lead for the Tankies. So 2 walks and a sac fly. Not the best scenario you could have had, but not the worst outcome. And here is Marcosa, who is still 0 for 4 tonight. Not really any luck at the dish. A pop out, a line out, a fly out, and a ground out. He has basically done everything except strike out. And that one goes over his head as Marzoka takes that one high and in, 1-1. Marcosa hits this one well down the left field line, but foul. And it's 1-2. Schmidt will lead off the party in the bottom of the 8th for the Spartans, but they've got to get through this jam first. Got to basically just put one foot in front of the other. And, you know, the Spartans haven't been playing bad baseball by any standards, but they just haven't had the same prowess on offense. You know, you got to remember, they won game 1 of the series, and then they lost game 2 12-2 as a part of that doubleheader. But here's the thing. I mean, this is the matinee, but it's been a week. These guys have had complete rest between games 1 and 2. As there's a swing and a miss, and Marcosa, 3-2. Looking to avoid an 0 for 5 night from the leadoff man with player manager Joe Bryson on deck. And he does strike out. So, not the best night for Marcosa, as he is now 0 for 5 on the campaign, and that is out number 2 for Joe Bryson. He started off the day with 2 groundouts and now singled and got an error to now be 1 for 4. That one misses to Bryson, 1-0. Up and away. 3-0 now. Nick Sylvester on deck. He's reached base in 3 out of his 4 tries tonight. Back-to-back lefties in the box. Gets the green light and gets a green strike, 3-1. Tried to recoil that one, but that ends up being a 5-pitch walk for Van to Bryson. His first free pass of the night in their 5th rotation of the order. As now here is Sylvester. As we said, Sylvester has been real nice at the plate tonight. 2 walks, a single, and a pop out. So he has been quite admirable at the dish. Looking to take advantage of that short porch in right field. I mean, we talk about a short porch. That is a short porch. 255 feet to right field. Almost feels like one of those junior fields that the 16-year-olds play on. Or the 14-year-olds in 8th grade. But, I mean, this is also a Babe Ruth field. So that age group does have games here. And they've even got a soccer pitch outlined in left center field. Sylvester puts 110% into that one and gets nothing out of it. It's a foul ball. And the count is 2-1. Sylvester dealing with a great situation here. 2 on and 2 out. But if he gets up, or if he gets on, then Cuff is on deck, who homered off of pace his last at-bat and would not make this situation any easier. I mean, as we said, that was the 7th home run of the year for the Tankies. And Andrew Cuff already had one this season, which was last week in the playoffs. So, lightning struck twice, and if he walks here on a 3-1, might even load the bases for Cuff, which kind of would be the Spartans' worst nightmare. Strike called on a good frame by Caniglia. As we said, Cuff tonight, an error, a flyout, a fielder's choice, and that 2-run home run in the 7th, 355 feet to left center field. And that gives us the score we have now, 7-2. That one is down. Ball 4, Caniglia corrals it, but this does not get any easier. This is the 4th walk surrendered by the Spartans this inning. And here is Cuff with the Buttercups in the background.
I think that was his nickname.
Might be. But with a swing like Butter, he's definitely had his success in the box tonight. There's a line drive to left. That's a base hit. That will score 1. That's going to bring Bryson around third. Schmidt brings it in. Pace cuts it off. And a 2-run single for Andrew Cuff. 4 RBIs on the night. And that extends the lead to 9-2 in favor of the Tankies. And a 3 spot here in the 8th puts the Spartans in a precarious situation in relief now that Pace is out and Van is in. And that moved Sylvester to second, but 4 RBIs in just 2 at-bats. The 2-run homer in the 7th and the 2-run single. I mean, you can go really anywhere between Cuff and Ryan Hansberry. Probably 2 of the most prolific hitters on this team. And Hansberry lines this base hit in the left field. He's got 4 hits tonight. Sylvester's coming around third. That's going to be double digits and a 4 spot. That ball's going to get out of play. That's a dead ball. And he will score 11-2. And that might be the weirdest play we have seen in a long time. He's going to get to third. And basically what happened there, what basically happened on that play was the ball came in from the infield on the base hit, and then Van was trying to bring up the ball. He was trying to carry it up to his glove, and he basically just kind of flung the ball up. It didn't stick in his glove, and the ball went out of play that way. The ball hit the roof of the dugout and went out of play. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. So that will be scored as a 2-run single by Hansberry, and he will advance on an E1, a fielding error by Van. I can't think I've written that down on my scorecard before, but he also has 4 RBIs now. Those 2 runs did count, or the first run did. Second one was on the error, and now he'll take it over the first to retire the side. Senior even bobbled that one a little bit, but Stam taps out, and a 5-run 8th has put this game in another territory, as it's now 11-2. And a game that started off very competitive has seemed to unravel right in front of our very eyes. But 6 more outs for the Tankies and 6 more opportunities for the Spartans to get back into the game. We'll be right back, 11-2 in favor of the visitors. Line drive to center by Donovan Schmidt is out number 1. And he also has not had the best night. He is 0 for 4. And now they're 5 outs away as this brings up Worstra. I mean, one swing of the bat doesn't put them back in it here. That's the problem. You know, and that 5-run inning definitely could have used a mulligan. But it's not like things were going swimmingly before. I mean, it's just, it hasn't been their best night. And that's going to be a foul ball. And that's something that Wurst has done all day, is that he gets these good barrels and he's got a great, style of a swing. But he's just way early. I mean, he could have had 2 home runs tonight, but he's turning it around way too early, as a little floater in the left is going to drop for a base hit. Worston now with his second hit of the night, 2 for 4. And here is Shaheem Pace again. But 11-2, still not out of it, but you're never really out of it in baseball. But if you're mentally checked out, then that's a different story. And obviously that's what you don't want to see out of these guys, is you don't want to see anybody getting checked out. You don't want to see anybody deflated. Because at the end of the day, you're still in the championship. And it's a miracle that these 2 teams at all are the ones that are in the championship series. I mean, if you just look at the standings alone, common logic would tell you, well, it has to be the Stratford Knights. They were 20-2. Well, it has to be the Braves. They were 17-2. I mean, there were 4 teams that were, out of the 12 in this league, that were above 500. The Knights, Braves, Batters, and Royals. They're not here. Tankies were 10-12. Spartans were 9-12 in the regular season. And yet they are the ones in the finals. That's a tapper to third by Pace. Sylvester for 1, and they do not get 2. So Pace reaches on a fielder's choice. They've had plenty of opportunities to turn 2, but we've seen a whole lot of fielder's choices tonight. But that's also because this league has had a lot of great teams and a lot of not great teams. For every Stratford Knights 20-2 campaign you've got the Runnymede Flock that are 2-17. South Jersey Blue Jays 4-14, Colt 45s 6-13. But in a league where upsets are rampant and aplenty, if you will, sometimes a good sign to see, a little bit of progress there. Here's Mike Sr. He has contributed one of the 2 Spartan runs tonight with an RBI ground out in the 6th. Here's a pop-up. And Stam catches it. There were 3 men going for it, and Stam is going to end up being the one who catches it. But, man, tough break for the Spartans. They are down to their final 3 outs as the Tankies look to get some more insurance runs in the 9th and shut the door and shut the series down in the bottom half of the inning. We'll be right back through 8, 11-2. top of the 9th inning, and, this game is giving me big deja vu to the Tri-County League's Game 3 of their Carter Cup final, as that one's going to be off the glove of Mike Sr., who now has transitioned to shortstop, and a base hit with Schlatter now at first. And Silpese, the only man out to bat in that 5-run 8th, now starts off the 9th with a single off of Jordan Van. Here is Gibbs. That one goes to the backstop, ricochets back to Caniglia, and it is 1-0. Big swing and a miss there by Gibbs. 1-1. Stay tuned for the Harper Driving School post-game show and the trophy presentation down on the field. The Spartans and Tankies have asked me to present the trophy to the winning team, as the pop-up to second base is caught by Carlos Robles for out number 1. So a couple of changes here. So now Mike Sr. is at short, and they're going to put Schlatter at first base. Here is Daniel Lapone, an Audubon grad, batting 132. So he's the last guy on their bench here as this one gets away and sends Silpese down to third. Or actually, that's going to be... I was going to say Carraza is on third. That's fouled back. Yeah, why do they have Marzaka on third? Yeah, so Sherrod McKee hit for Quinn Rollins, and now Lapone is hitting for McKee, but you still have Zach Connell. And that hits Lapone. So he'll get on, but what's confusing to me is that why do they have him on first or why do they have him running at the first place? Because it should be Hansberry running. If all numbers are correct, it shouldn't be Marzaka at third. It should be either Hansberry or Stam, depending on who you want to put out there, running for the catcher Silpese. That's the issue here that's being discussed, is that, like, why is Marzaka on third in the first place when it should be last batted out? And that's what makes the whole rule of being able to put in a courtesy runner at any time makes it confusing. Yeah, one away. So now they're going to put Gibbs back on third. And the home plate umpire is just kind of, bewildered at, like, yeah, you got to get off base because you're on deck. This isn't wiffle ball. We don't have ghost runners here if you only have 3 guys to play with. They're over to first, hits Lapone, and Schlatter falls down. Now runners coming to the plate, and he scores. They took advantage of a bad situation. Van didn't throw the ball away, but he threw it into the chest of Lapone. And now the run scores from third. And it's now 12-2. And it's a no-win situation all around. Didn't get the pickoff, didn't get the play at the plate, but that's an ambitious play up by 9. Throw down to second. Lapone is off the bag. They got him. So Lapone is out as he trailed a little too far off the bag. and ends up getting picked off at second. So a wild chain of events. Strike called, and there's now 2 strikes against, or excuse me, 2-1 now against Connell. Inside, 3-1 to Connell. He's got a ground out, pop out, and a sac fly. So 0 for 3 with an RBI to his name here in this 12-2 game. And that'll be a runner on first here, 3-1 on a 5-pitch walk. So a walk to Connell brings back up the top of the order for Marzocca. I just don't understand at all why Marzocca was on third in the first place, because it should be last batted out. And if you're talking about the last inning, it would be Stam, but he's also the pitcher, so you go one further back, and then you get Ryan Hansberry. So the fact that he was on third in the first place, then had to be called back into the dugout just to hit, was a confusing spectacle, to say the least. That one just misses Marzocca. 1-1. Joe Bryson, the player manager, on deck here. And a swing and a miss for Marzocca. 1-2. Big thing here is that he's got to get a base hit just for his own record, because he is 0 for 5 tonight as the leadoff man. That one skips in, and he's going to go down to second base. Nobody's covering the bag, and he gets in there. It's just a confusing inning all around, and what has been a confusing game. The ball gets away from Caniglia, and just everybody seems to be out of step. Everybody just seems to be, you know, maybe a little bit behind the ball, a little bit behind the game.
A little bit of bad news bears.
Yeah, and that doesn't help anybody. 2-2 to Marzocca. I'm sorry, 3-2, and that ends up being a walk. So Marzocca reaches for the first time tonight in his 6th plate appearance off of both Pace and Van. And this brings up Joe Bryson with Nick Sylvester on deck if needed. But 2 outs, 2 on, and we've seen this situation a million times tonight. But trying to pour it on a little bit here in a 12-2 game. They've already scored 1 run this inning. 3. They started off the game really well. Had 2 runs in the first on that 2-run double by Hansberry. And that was really the only news for a while. You know, they got a couple of runs here and there, but then the Spartans tried to fight back, and at best, it was 4-2. And we're thinking, all right, you know, they've got a fighting chance. They'll get something going here. They've got a couple runners on. And then just a couple things went wrong on the defensive side. A couple things went wrong on the pitching side of things. And right now, they just can't seem to buy it out if their life depended on it. With Sylvester on deck, and Bryson in a 3-0 count. This one's popped up, back behind the plate. Caniglia calls for it, and he makes the catch. Side retired. Well, 3 more outs until the Tankie's Tavern has a chance to defend and win a championship here in the South Jersey Men's Baseball League. We'll be right back as it's 12-2, and they tack on an insurance run. Mike Stam going for the complete game. All right, well, it turns out we will have a change, and Mike Stam will not complete his 9-inning game, which would have been a great spectacle to see in the championship. But, alas, we are in a different time. Here is the first pitch that is inside to one of their pinch hitters. That being Luis Roman III. That one is down. 2-0. New pitcher is Nick Sylvester. So Roman is pinch hitting for Schlatter as Robles is still on deck. Which is interesting because Roman took over in right field. And then Schlatter moved to first base. So I guess they're moving things around more and taking Schlatter out of the game. That one is down. 3-1. So Schlatter's day ends on an 0-for-3 note, and that is ball 4. So Luis Roman walks on 5 pitches to start the party in the bottom of the 9th. And they got that insurance run, but just didn't get anything going otherwise. I mean, they were quite aggressive on the bases, even for a team that was up by 9 or 10. Was certainly a little surprising, but it's always the play until the game is over mentality. Has a little floater in the left. That's going to drop for a base hit. Roman will hold it second. And a base hit for Carlos Robles. And this brings up Khalil Hassan. So a little bit of life here in the bottom of the 9th. Down by 10, but crazier things have happened in the game of baseball. Right now sitting at 2 hours and 34 minutes game time here from Barrington. First pitch from Sylvester. It's a swing and a miss by Hassan. Hassan had a ground rule double in the 5th, came around to score on the RBI single. The only run batted in from a hit today from Jordan Van. The other was an RBI ground out by Michael Sr. Strike 2. He's watched 2 of them, or he swung at one of them and he watched the second. And it is 0-2. It's not an easy pill to swallow in this situation with 2 runners on and nobody out. Prime situation to mount a comeback. High at the letters, 1-2. Both teams have asked me to present the championship plaque on the field at the end of the game, so we'll broadcast that, and then we'll have our post-game interview and our post-game show, as that's going to be a strikeout to Hassan. Out number 1. So Sylvester 2 outs away from crowning this championship. Mike Stam went 8 innings with 6 strikeouts, 5 of them looking. And there's a strike called to Ramon Castanone. To Ramon Castanone. 1 for 3 tonight, fly out, strikeout, and a single in the 7th. Swing and a miss there, 0-2. Seems like after a bit of a rocky start to this relief appearance for Sylvester, he's gotten back into the motions and back into the grooves, and now he seems to be better than he was 5 minutes ago. For the Immaculata right-hander, that one misses. 1-2. With Sulpizi as his battery mate after 8 innings of dominance from Mike Stam Jr. In the 10 spot of the order. That one is going to trail inside. 2-2. One away and a 2-2 count. 12-2 game and 2 runners on. That one is high. 3-2. And going from a 0-2 count to a full count will make the situation a little bit different here for the Spartans and for the Tankies. And that's ball 4. Bases loaded. And this brings up Kenigli at the top of the order. He barreled one up in the 7th. And just a quick meeting on the mound here. But big moment here for the player manager in a 12-2 game. You know, many people can write off this game if you wish, but I'm sure those guys in the green and white are not writing it off just yet. Swing and a miss by Caniglia, 0-1. He's 1 for 3 tonight. A single, a ground out, fly out, and a walk to his credit tonight. Strike 2 on the outside corner. He's been pretty consistent with that. So credit's given where it's due. And the bases are loaded with 1 away in a 12-2 game. Sylvester back in the groove. Caniglia pops this one up over towards second, and it's caught. Infield fly is called, and there's 2 away. So here is Jordan Van, the pitcher for the past 3 frames after 6 innings by Shaheen Pace. And now Van, who has the only RBI on a base hit tonight for the Spartans, looks to avoid this being the final out. Off of Sylvester. Here's the first pitch. Strike called on the outside corner. 0-1. Bases loaded, 2 outs, a walk, or 2 walks and a single represent the men on base right now. There's a swing and a miss, 0-2. And we are 1 strike away from a title for the Tankie's Tavern, formed in 2017 after the loss of a family member in the team's organization. Looking for a title here in the South Jersey Men's Baseball League. Here from Deerfield in Barrington, right off of Clements Bridge Road on a beautiful Sunday morning. Looking to keep this game alive is Jordan Van, and that one goes to the backstop. And it's 2-2. That one went right over his back. And the ball went right behind him. Van with an RBI and a hit by pitch tonight. That one is hit well down the left field line. It's going to go foul. Is he going to get it in the corner? He dives and he makes the catch for the championship. And Tankie's Tavern, they're saying it's out of play? Oh my goodness. So, but yeah, it's the ground rules thing, because you see that. So the ground rules are saying that was out of play down the left field line, and therefore that couldn't count as a catch. How about that? And he stays alive. 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. Sylvester versus Van. Strike 3 on the outside corner, and the second chance is the best chance. Tankie's Tavern 2024 Men's League Champions. Sylvester gets it done, albeit in a complicated way. They strike out Van with a full count and the bases loaded, and after trailing in the series 1-0 last week, they sweep Game 2 handily with the exact final score in both Games 2 and 3, the final 12-2. And Tankie's Tavern gets their title despite having a below 500 record. Like we said, in this 12-team league, only 4 teams had an above 500 record, and one of them, actually none of them, were in this championship. But man, what a game this was. But we're going to go down in just a minute to give the championship plaque to the winning team, the Tankie's Tavern, and give our post-game interview to our player of the game right after this. And actually, we'll stay on the air in just a moment, but we'll be back down for the championship presentation.
face the camera. Yeah.
Second year, helping manage, and I like to say I'm now a high representing manager in Champions League. And you hit it 4 times. You did. And I did more than that joke did. I put my big time. But you off now. But you guys gave me what you had to do. I was glad I was doing hard roles. Like, how it is like that. You guys deserve this. Celebrate. Help with a few bombs and everybody did their own part, but lunch is on Joe. He told me himself. So we'll go to Deli Cozy down the street. Cheesesteaks on Joe. Break down that MasterCard, boy.
Alright, Cop, take it away.
Alright, guys, Tankie's on 3, Tankie's on 3. 1, 2, 3, Tankies!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Tankie's Tavern takes it home 12-2 in the 2024 South Jersey Men's Baseball League Championship game to win their first title. And Andrew Cuff, you're a big part of that. 4 RBIs, and all of them came in the last 2 at-bats. 2-run home run to left center, and then that 2-run single to help put the game away in a 5-run 8th inning. How did you feel out there today?
Pretty good, coming into the game. We had all the momentum just coming in from last week. We split, and, team woke up late. Second game, we got the dub, but came in today with high hopes and just wanted to win, take the chips finally after 4 years.
It's certainly an unusual format, to play 2 games of your championship in one day and then have to wait a week to see Game 3. So you guys were ready to go, and especially after Game 2, you guys won 12-2. Now you guys finished the deal with the same exact score. You guys, nobody really seemed to have an edge early. You guys were in the lead, but there were defensive mistakes on both sides of the ball, but you guys seemed to pull it out in the end, and you guys seemed to really clean it up on defense in those later innings. And what it ended up going down to was the offense, and that 2-run shot really rejuvenated the team and got you guys to win. So I didn't think that was gone off the bat. It's hard to tell out here, but did that feel good to you?
I mean, honestly, I thought I missed it. I thought it was just a fly ball, just like, the second game last week, same thing. Home run, I thought it was a fly ball, but I just went up to the plate clear-minded, thinking, just got to do something here, to secure the lead. So, and that's what happened.
Yeah, and look, that 5-run 8th inning really helped put things away, but also the defense really cleaned itself up later in the game. It was sloppy on both sides early, and then you guys were winning and also cleaning up the ball on defense, making less errors, and that's what helps win championships and games in the end of the day. So, for you guys seem to have a lot of great team camaraderie, a lot of great rapport, and especially you guys playing for Tankie, of course. And this being kind of an emotional win for you guys. How does it feel to bring the championship home for you guys on your home field?
Good, really good, especially for Joey, because he's been fighting all year. We all have been fighting. And it's been a rough year. Not the best record in the league, whatever, but we just kept our heads up, locked in, and won. I mean,
hey, 4 teams had over 500 records, and none of them even made it to the finals. So it was an interesting situation all around. But we appreciate it.
Yep.
We'll have you follow our DWB tradition of signing the scorecard. So just make it nice and big on the bottom, and maybe leave a little room for Mike as well.
All right, cool.
This is something we started doing this year at the Rutgers-Camden games, and nice little memento for the players and the fans at home. There you go. Andrew Cuff, one of your 2 players of the game. And we'll bring over our second player of the game who threw 8 innings. Who threw 8 innings of nice baseball tonight with 6 strikeouts, Mike Stam Jr. It is very difficult to go out there in a do-or-die championship game and do what you did out there, especially with a high pitch count and a handful of runs taken in. How'd you feel out there today?
It was tough. I'd never thrown 8. Usually we play 7-inning games, but Joe said, how you feel? And I knew these guys had my back after a couple errors. It's going to happen, but they had my back for the most part, just threw strikes, and the rest, Cuff hit in everyone else, so I didn't have to do much.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys had a good defensive outing backing you guys up, but you also really helped, develop your at-bats and a lot of late runs in that strike zone where, you had 6 strikeouts, but 5 of them were looking. So, that's one thing that adds on to a pitcher's legacy is where not only can you get hitters to miss, but you can get hitters to completely just not want to swing at your stuff at all. So it's a good thing to have, and it's a good problem to have. But, for you guys giving up a couple of those runs in the middle innings, you were up 4-0, then it was 4-1, then it was 4-2. That kind of rattles a pitcher's mind a little bit. So how did you feel overcoming that adversity before you guys took off with the offense in the later innings?
I just keep throwing strikes. I knew eventually we were going to get to the pitcher. These guys can hit the ball good on our team. I told Joe, just get on base and we'll be good. And that's exactly what I did. Him and Alex and Cuff did the rest. I just tried to go out there and throw strikes. And these guys, they saved my back plenty of times.
And it pays to have good confidence in your offense. And it pays to have good confidence in your defense, too. It's never easy to look at a pop fly and think, is he going to catch that? But it's a lot easier when you know he's going to catch that. So, for you guys, like I just talked to Andrew, you guys have a very close team. And there's some men's league teams that are just thrown together with a whole bunch of free agents and they figure it out throughout the summer. But you guys are really close, and it shows that friendship can win championships. And for you guys, this is a big win for you, especially on your home field after not playing for a week after the doubleheader in game 1 and 2. What does this championship mean to you?
It means a lot, definitely for Joe. The last, I think, 2-3 years they went to the championship and sadly lost each time. So I really just want to go out there and just let our offense do the job and see what I could do. And we came up with the win. It felt great.
Sounds very good, Mike, and we'll have you do the same thing that Andrew did. Just sign that scorecard there. Make it nice and big on the bottom for the viewers at home.
Thank you.
All right, perfect. There you go. The duo right there that took off the South Jersey Spartans in a 12-2 final. Andrew Cuff and Mike Stam Jr., thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, that will be all for us tonight here from the South Jersey Men's Baseball League, a 12-2 final between the Spartans 2 and the Tankie's Tavern, taking home 12 runs after scoring 12 in Game 2 to take the series tie and eventually to take the series win. Our next broadcast will be Tuesday, August 27th, in a 7 p.m. start between the Camden County Cougars and the RCSJ Roadrunners in men's soccer action from Rutgers Camden. You can always stay tuned to our schedules on our Twitter and Instagram at DW Broadcasting and our Facebook on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Of course, we'll also have our football triple header coming up this week with Thursday, Friday, and Saturday games to kick off the 2024 fall season. From everybody here at Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, our social media coordinators, Brandon the Kegerland and Keely Curran, our graphics crew, Gavin Van Rel, Caleb Lane, and Nelson Reeves, my producer, Donna Wilkins, and I'm Dan Wilkins. We will see you on Tuesday under the lights from Camden. Have a good one, folks. The Tankie's Tavern wins their first South Jersey Men's League Championship by a score of 12-2.